Well, hello everybody, it's Ronnie with Whip and Chain. I work with Maggie and Lauren to bring you fun crochet tutorials. Today is a great one. It is the melting snowman. And he can be a great centerpiece. He's very ruffly. He's melting, so everything's bumpy and all like snow. And his head bobbles. It is attached. And you got a beautiful scarf. Little mittens. If you notice the mittens are crooked, you notice the buttons are crooked, that's because he's melting. And look at the palm we put on the hat. And his carrot nose and his eyes. He just turned out beautiful. Alright, let's dive into this and let's make him. Okay, you guys ready to make this melting snowman? He's freaking cool, fun, and it's not just a round one, it's a puddle. It looks like an actual melting snowman. Okay, anyway, so let's get into, let me shrink you here a little bit. This is what I'm using. Just didn't have time to get the Hobby Lobby this week with my schedule. But this is nice soft yarn. It's Bernat Baby. I'm using the baby blanket because it's soft. So soft than the regular Bernat blanket. Bernat blanket is soft, but the baby's great. Now, the color I'm using is white. Now, they had a choice of colors there. I went to Joann's because, unfortunately, Michael's choices of yarn just seems to keep getting smaller and smaller. It's making me really sad, but I'm a Hobby Lobby girl anyway. So anyway, using white, they had like an antique white, but after I stood at the store, which I enjoyed, really thought about it, snow is white. Snow is white. Snow is not antique white. Snow is white until it gets dirty. So why not make a beautiful white snowman? Melting snowman, that is. Anyway, so this is a 6 bulky. So if you choose to use something different, I'm using 6 bulky. I am going with a recommended 8mm hook. If you use regular acrylic yarn or cotton yarn, you can make this. It's just going to turn out smaller. That's it. No big deal. Anyway, I'm going to suggest that you go with the recommended hook size for this. I want him to be big. He's going to be so freaking cool. He could be a centerpiece on your table. He can be whatever you want him to be. All right? And so this is how we're going to dive into it. You're also going to need, whether you're going to use what you're going to use for eyes. If you're going to use yarn, if you're going to use the snap-on eyes, if you're going to use buttons, whatever you're going to use, be very aware of the choices that you make if this is going to a child. Those eye buttons, they can chew them off and choke. Regular buttons, they can chew them off and choke. They can rip them off. It's a craft. It's yarn. It can be pulled off. If you work at it enough, you can pull it off. So please be very, very aware of what you choose to put on your crafts because they can be choke and hazards to small children. Okay? All right. So, I got my yarn. And you will need a darning needle, polyfill, like I said, something to use for eyes, whether it's just yarn or what you're going to use. It's all choices. That's what's fun about this hobby, right? We got choices. Everything is a choice in life, and it's nice to be able to have that freedom to do that. I'm making sure. What's nice is white yarn, black background. Yes! All right, got my 8mm crochet hook. All right, everybody good? Now, my table, I changed where I did videos, so I'm still trying to figure out, and I have multiple projects on this table, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm happy with. So forgive if you see a little clumsiness. All right. So I am making a magic ring. Now, if you don't want to make a magic ring, you don't have to. You can do a chain 4 and slip stitch to the first stitch. Okay? All right. And working with this yarn can be very difficult. So I'm going to try it with this 8mm hook. If I feel the stitches are just too hard to see, I'm going to move up a hook. Please be aware of what your capabilities are. If you're not comfortable with the hook you're using, if you think your stitches are just too loose and too gappy, you can go down. If you think your stitches are too tight and you can't find your stitches, please go up a hook size. And when I say a hook size, you can go from an 8 to a 8.5. You don't necessarily have to go right to a 9. Or you can go down to a 7.5 or a 7. Have fun with it. Take your time. It's a project, and you know, if you take your time with it and it gets done right, then you're just that much more in love with your project and happy with what you completed. All right. So if you did a chain 4 and you slip stitch, I want you to chain 2. If you did the magic ring like I did, but it automatically does a chain 1, we need to add 1 more chain. And through the whole entire project, these chain 2s do not count as a stitch. So don't ever count them. Just these chain 2s actually keep the project filled in. It almost makes it where there's no gaps. All right, so we're going to do 12 double crochets in this ring. And because this is a bulky yarn, I am not even going to play. So I'm going to put in 2 double crochets. And as soon as I got the second double crochet done, I'm going to take my stitch marker and I'm going to mark my first double crochet because they're hard to see, guys. I'm not dancing around it. So that's 2. That's 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11 and 12. Now I'm going to pull my center tight, but be careful if you're using this blanket yarn. If you pull hard this yarn, it breaks. You don't want to pull it hard. Just do the best you can, snug it in, and that's fine. Now your pattern might be a little ruffly. It's a snowman melting. Is that smooth when they melt? No, they have bumps and ridges and ices in it, so roll with this. It's fun, it's fun. Come on, guys, it's fun. Roll with it, enjoy it, love it, engage in it. Okay. So now, because I marked it, I know where my first double crochet is. So I'm going to stick my hook in there. And once I'm comfortable that I'm not going to lose it, I'm going to take this out and I'm going to slip stitch. Right there. All right, row 1 done. Now we're going to go to row 2. Row 2 is chain 2. And what did I say? It don't count. In that same stitch where you slip stitched in, put in 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. And what am I going to do right away? I'm going to mark my stitch. So in every stitch going around, I want you to put in 2 double crochets and you're going to land at 24. Please keep your counts on this. It will really help you in the long run. But this is a project where if it's a little off, it is not the end of the world. It's just a suggestion. All right, I'm going to do my 24. It's 2 double crochets in every stitch. did 4 already, and I'll meet you back. Okay, there's my 24 round. Now round 3. So what you do is you slip stitch in there. My son is in his room playing online games. His door is shut, so if you hear him a little bit, that's just him getting excited over his game, so he loves it. So round 3. After you slip stitch, chain 2, and reminder, that does not count as anything. So you go into that same stitch where you slip stitched, and you put in 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then we go right back and you mark your first one. I'm really suggesting strongly this will be your saving grace, everybody. Okay, so put in 2, and the next stitch you put in 1 double crochet. So the next one you put in 2 double crochets, and the next stitch you put in 1 double crochet. So that's what you're going to do all the way around. So in one stitch you put in 2 double crochets, which is an increase. The next stitch you put in 1, then it's 2, 1, 2, 1 all the way around, and then that will land you at 36 stitches, and I'll meet you back. Okay, looking nice, and as you can see, it's going to grow really, really fast. Okay, that's what I said, it's a big project, but it's beautiful. All right, so again, we are going to slip stitch right into where we started. All right, so now we chain 2, and again we put 2 double crochets in that first stitch, 1 and 2, and I mark my first stitch. So 2 double crochets, then in the next 2 stitches you put in 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and 1 double crochet in the next stitch. And that's how our increasing rows is going to be 2 double crochets, stitch, and 1 and 1. So again, it's 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2. All right, and you're going to do that all the way around. So it's 2 double crochets, then 1 double crochet and 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 and 1, all the way around, and you're going to land at 48 stitches, and I'll meet you back. Okay, there she is at 48, and remember when I said she ripples up a little bit, that's what they're supposed to do, guys. Don't stress over that. And I love it. It's beautiful, it's fluffy, and I'm happy with my hook size. All right, so now we're going to do what we know. We're going to slip stitch, okay, we're going to chain 2, we're going to put 2 double crochets in that same stitch, mark your first stitch. We did 2 double crochets, and then we're going to put 1 double crochet in the next 3. So this is normal for increases every row. 1, 2, and 3, and then you put 2 double crochets in the next stitch. and then you put a double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So it's 2 double crochets in 1 stitch and 1 in the next 3, 2, 1 in the next 3, and we're going to go all the way around, and that'll land you at 60 double crochets, and I'll meet you back. Okay, you have 60 double crochets. Now I want you to just keep this pattern up with the increases. So the next one would be a chain 2, 2 double crochets, and double crochet in the next 4. So it's an increase and then 1 double crochet in the next 4, and that'll land you at 72. Then row 7 is the same thing. It's chain 2, 2 double crochet in the first stitch, and then a double crochet in the next 5. That'll land you at 84 stitches. Okay. Next row would be a chain 2, 2 double crochet in the first stitch, then a double crochet in the next 6, 1 double crochet in the next 6. That'll land you at 96 stitches. Okay. Then row 9 will be a chain 2, 2 double crochet in the first stitch, double crochet in the next 7. That'll land you at 108 stitches. Okay. And then the last row will be a chain 2, 2 double crochet in the first stitch, and 1 double crochet in the next 8. That'll land you at 120 stitches. So you're gonna just keep this 1 more added double crochet until you reach, you're doing 2 double crochets and 1 double crochet in 8 stitches. So you're gonna keep it up, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up until you got 120 stitches. Okay, I'm gonna meet you back. I'm gonna continue doing this when I get back. Then we're gonna do the puddle part of it on the outside. Okay, so stay tuned. All right, look how big she got. She got really big, really cool though. All right, so this is all rounds increasing up to, it's an increase in 8 double crochets. And as you can see, I don't know if I can show you, but it does not lay flat. It ripples a little bit. That's what it's supposed to do. Okay, the whole point of this is it's a oh, I don't want you to see my ugly nail. It's a melting snowman. So that being said, it's going to crinkle a little bit, but we're going to do this really fun edge on it because when snowmen melt, they don't melt evenly round, do they? No, they don't. So I found doing this edge. Now this edge, you can do it any way you want. You do not have to do it what I'm suggesting. You can keep it round if you want, but I'm gonna do almost like a puddle looking edge. That's what I kind of want to do. So I'm going to show you what I do to do it, and you can make your own decision on this. You can always make your own decision. These videos are just a suggestion on what to do. Crochet can be very forgiving in some patterns, and then in some patterns it's not so forgiving. So it's up to you. All right, so I'll start off my chain 2, which this whole pattern, everybody should know, does not count. So in that same first stitch, I'm going to do a half a double. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark my first stitch right away. Okay. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do another half a double. Okay. And in the next stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. 1 and 2 in the same stitch. Okay. In the next stitch, do 2 trebles. That's wrapping your hook twice. Trying to, there we go. There we go. So 2 trebles. So it's, that's 1, and that's 2. And then next stitch, 2 double crochets. The next stitch, 2 half doubles, the next stitch a double, oh, I was wrong. 1 double crochet, not 2 double crochets. The next stitch is a double treble, and we're going to do 4 of them in the same stitch. So a treble is wrapped twice, a double treble is wrapped 1 more time. So we're going to do 4 of them. Okay, that's 1. It's 2. That's 3. It's 4. Okay. Now we're going to do a treble in the next stitch. Okay. And in the last stitch, 2 doubles. All right. All right. Pretty cool, huh? All right. Now, we're going to repeat this pattern. I'm going to do it with you again. This will not evenly work out over here. So in your last stitches, I just suggest you put double crochets in your last stitches. All right, so let me do the pattern one more time with you. First stitch is a half a double. Half a double. Next stitch, half a double. Next stitch, 2 double crochets in that stitch. 1 and 2. Next stitch is 2 trebles. 1 and 2. Next stitch is 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Next stitch is 2 half doubles. Next stitch is 1 double crochet. Next stitch is 4 double trebles. So this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. Next stitch is a treble. Okay. And then in the last stitch, 2 double crochets. Okay. Now, do you see what I mean with it jagged like a melting snowman? So I want you to repeat this pattern, and I'm going to meet you at the end and we'll finish up the stitches together. Okay? Okay. So here she is with all the beautiful puddle edging that you did on the side. All right. So now what we're going to do is called the crab stitch. Oh, let me back up just for a minute. The last stitch on this, we have one stitch left over. Well, not really, because it was just 2 double crochets in the last stitch, so it worked out really nice. I thought it was off by 2 stitches, but it was good. So you slip stitch into your first stitch right there, slip and slip. Now I want to show you, we're going to be doing a reverse crab stitch border all the way along. You don't have to do anything. A reverse crab stitch, instead of going the direction that you're normally going, we're going to go the opposite direction. That's why it's called reverse. So I want you to chain 1. I'm bringing you close as much as I can. Chain 1, and it's going to feel weird, but it's going to work. Take your hook, you go into that same stitch that you just came out of, right there. Go in, and you grab your yarn. Your yarn will, I'm right-handed, your yarn will be on your left, your hook's on your right. Go in and grab it and pull through, and just leave it this way. And then your yarn, you come up underneath and grab it, and you go through like a single crochet. Let's do that again. Take your yarn, go into the next stitch, grab your yarn's on your left, just grab it, bring it through, just like this, and then you go up, under, and grab. Okay, let's do it again. You're going to do this all the way around. In, yarn's on your left, grab it, bring it through, and wrap. See how it gives you this bumpy border? Really pretty. Go into your next stitch, grab it, just bring it straight through, wrap it, and go around. Okay? So this is what we're going to do all the way around. Okay? Just do a couple more. In, grab, and through. Make sure your working yarn comes around and it's not getting hung up. Okay? In, grab, bring it out, wrap, and through. Okay. Okay, I'll meet you at the end. Okay, look how pretty that turns out. Just absolutely beautiful. So I did the crab stitch all the way around. So what you want to do, you don't want to chain 1. You want to give yourself a nice tail. through. Trying to thread it, guys. Fluffy yarn's not always easy to thread. There we go. I've got it threaded. Go on the wrong side, and you want to just line them up together as well as you can and go through the back. And see, just like that. And now just weave in your ends very, very well on this. You don't want your melting snowman to come apart. Ha! That's funny. All right. Hang tight. And then don't forget your center one. Now what I do is I find a direction first and I go in that direction. It's almost like locking it in. There we go. Then you go in reverse. When you're comfortable with it, now the melty is done. Ha 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 ha. The melty. Okay. I'm going to set that off to the side. And I'll be right back. Okay. So now we're done working on the head. If I can find my hook. All right, we're still working with the 8mm crochet hook. So now I want you to do a magic circle. If you don't want to do a magic circle or you're not comfortable doing them, please do a chain 4, slip stitch into your first stitch, and then you'll be at the same spot as us. Now, for the people that, excuse my voice, for the people who did the chain 4, make sure you chain 1 at the end after you slip stitch. Okay? Now, in this circle, I want you to put 8 single crochets. One, Got something all over my hands. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Okay. In your first single crochet, I want you to put in, sorry, put in 2 single crochets. And I would advise, dig it in your 2 single crochets. I would use a stitch marker. So in every stitch, I want you to put in 2 single crochets. That's 12. That's 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay. Now we're gonna put in 2 single crochets in our first stitch. 1 and 2. Okay. 1 in the next, and then 2 in the next. And that's what you're going to rotate all the way around. And I will see you once we get around. Okay. We're going to do 1 more row of increase, and then we're going to start turning it into an actual head. Okay.
That was great. Has anything changed since we last spoke?
I'm sorry about my TV. I forgot to turn that off. Anyway, so we're going to put 2 single crochet in the first stitch. 1 and 2. Stitch marker. And then you put 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then 2 single crochets. Then 1 in the next 2. And 2. And that is your repeat for this one. And then you put in 2. And then 1 and 1. 1 and 1. And I'll meet you all the way around. Okay, for the next 5 rows, I just want you to match stitch for stitch. Okay, you're just matching stitch for stitch for 5 rows. Okay, it's going to start curling in like a ball. All right, meet you back. 5 rows, stitch for stitch. Okay, I did say 5 rows around, and that's what 5 is, but now looking at it, this is, you know, sometimes you got to make adjustments. We're going to do a 6th row around matching stitch for stitch. So let's do 1 more row of matching stitch for stitch, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I did 1 more row around, and that I like a lot better. Anyway, so now the next row, we're going to start decreasing. So I want you to put 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and please come back and mark your first stitch. Now we're gonna decrease. Now I like to do invisible decrease, but you decrease how you want. The way I do it is I go through the front loop only of the first stitch, then I go through the front loop only of the next stitch, there it is. Okay. Then I wrap my hook and I bring it through both those loops, and I wrap and I finish my single crochet. That is how I that is how I decrease, but let's do it again. 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then I decrease, so it's front loop only. Then I go over to the next one and do the front loop only, wrap my yarn, bring it through the 2, wrap, and I finish my single crochet. So then I'm on a single crochet, front loop, wrap, bring it through, and there we go. So let's finish doing that pattern around. Just gonna stay with you guys because I'll be right around in a moment anyway. And if you don't need to see this, you can just fast forward. Some people do, and I want to be able to help every single person that I possibly can help. And the decrease that I do, it's called an invisible decrease. So you can't see it on the project. All right. And I ended with a decrease. All right. Now take out your stitch marker. Put a single crochet in the next stitch and mark it. Now we do a decrease again in the next one. And then a regular single crochet in the next. So it's single crochet, then a decrease. Single crochet, then decrease all the way around, and I'll meet you. Okay, so after you do that, we're going to stop. Do not cut this or anything yet, but we're going to stop because we have other stuff to do on this face before we close him off. So we're going to set him over here. Okay. With the hook. Now I am using a 6mm hook for me. The nose is easy, the carrot nose. So you do your regular start and you chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, second chain from the hook, I want you to do a slip stitch. Okay, next to the next stitch you do a single crochet, next one you do a single crochet, next stitch you do a half double, next stitch you do a half double, chain 2, 1 and 2, and you slip stitch right into that, your starter, where you started. It's a tight fit, so you can get it in there, just take your time. There we go. And slip stitch. And then chain one more. And cut. And there's your carrot nose. Nice and easy, right? Be right back. Okay. I stuffed the head. I did not add any more stitches so I could get a feel of the shape of the head that we're dealing with. Now we're going to be making a hat for him. So you got to remember the hat is going to come down to about here. So you want his eyes lower. So we need to put the eyes on. Now you can do whatever you want for the eyes, but when I think of eyes, I think of, you know, we do the kohl as kids for them. So that being said, I'm going with the biggest one that I have available in my arsenal here of eyes. But again, this is your project, so you do what you want. So the hat's gonna come down to here. So I want his eyes right under his hat. So do I want his eyes? Now, it's a melting snowman. So if you want his eyes crooked, you can do his eyes crooked. You can do his eyes any way you want. But I'm going to do that for his eyes. Now, put on the backs. Make sure the eyes are where you want them before you put your backs on. Now, if this is going to a child, disclaimer again, I would sew on eyes. Okay? So, there's his eyes. I'm very happy with that. Now, his nose. His nose. Now, I'm going to take out my filling because I need to sew that on. But I put my filling in because I needed to see the shape. So I left the long tail to be able to sew on his nose. Now his nose should go evenly under the eyes. Just like that. And then all you have to do is weave it. Because it's the same color. Just weave it in and out. There we go. Play around with it. Make sure you put it in the exact way you want on. And if something's sticking up, you go back and you fix it. Don't not do something and regret it later. Like that. Okay. Moving it up and down. And then down. And then this loose end, I weave, put back in my thing, and then I just pick a point of where I want it to come down, just like that. And then these ends, you don't really need to do much. I knot them. And then just do a little cut there. All right. Don't lose your spot here. Now I refill. My snowman. Now it's not filled, but got some stuffing in there. Now I'm going to go around and I'm going to just do regular, they don't have to be invisible, regular decreases. I'm going to mark my first stitch. So every stitch is a decrease. And if you want to add a little bit more stuffing now, best time to do it. Top it off. Now, you don't need this no more. I'm going to do a couple more decreases. Oh. 1, 2, and I'm going to do 1 more. 3. Then I'm going to cut a long string. Okay. Pull this all the way through. Okay. Thread it. I'm going to just weave it all the way through the rest of it. Just weave in and out until it closes. All right. Should have put the nose up a little higher. I'm going to take this out and readjust it. Okay, so be careful on how you put it on here, because if you don't like it, then you're going to be unhappy. But I'm going to fix this because I'm not happy with it. So I'm going to do that and I'll be back. Okay, so I redid the nose. I'm much more happier. I aligned it up with the eyes better and did it on a little angle to actually make it look like a carrot. Okay, so now we left our tail. I need you to take your melted snow. Make sure, yeah, that's where I tucked in the yarn. Make sure you're working on the right side. Okay. I added my darning needle and plop them right in the center. And what I suggest is you just take your darning needle and just put it right through the center. There's no right or wrong way you want to angle them on here. And then we're going to turn it upside down. You're just going to go through your stitches on the bottom and just tack them on pretty good. But try to stick to this middle circle, okay? You don't want your stitches going all wonky everywhere. You don't want this rock solid tight, because remember, we're making a scarf for him. So need to be able to get that scarf around them. I changed where I do videos, so if I go off the screen a little bit, I apologize. I'm trying to be very aware that I'm trying to stay on the screen, okay? There we go. And don't pull it tight where it buckles, okay? Check every once in a while what you're doing, making sure your stitches aren't going anywhere you don't want them to go. And do one more. And then when you think you're happy with it, look at him. Oh, he looks so silly cute. All right, when you're done, just weave in your ends like normal. And make sure it's nice and tight and well locked in, because you don't want him coming loose. And then I'm going to push it up through the head somewhere. Okay, so I brought it up through the head just to basically lose the tail, you know. But make sure when you cut it where you can't see it. All right. So now that is that. All right. So we can set him just a little bit. Don't set him too far because we need him for hat measurements. He's cute. I'm really happy with him. All right, so now the hat. Pick any color acrylic yarn you want to do on your snowman. I was thinking this color, but I'm going to actually go with red. I like the idea of red. So anyway. This is Hobby Lobby yarn. And the hat. I'm going to do a magic ring. If you can't do a magic ring, you can chain 4 and slip stitch to your first stitch. You might want to grab a stitch marker so you don't lose control, lose where your stitches are. And I'm using a 5mm crochet hook. So if you chain 4, slip stitch to the first stitch, then I need you to chain 1, and then we're all at the same spot. So in your circle, I want you to do 8 single crochets. Okay. After your 8 stitches, then I want you to put 2 single crochets in each stitch to land you at 16 stitches. Actually, before you do that, I want you to slip stitch to your first stitch. I don't want to work in the rounds on this. So slip stitch, chain 1, and now put 2 single crochets in every stitch. So after you do your 2, I suggest you do your stitch marker. All right, meet you around. Okay, after 16, then you slip stitch to your first stitch. Chain 1, put 2 single crochets in your first stitch. 1 single crochet in the next. Don't forget your marker. And then 2 in the next. Then 1. And then this is what you do all the way around. So 2, then 1. 2, and 1. I'll meet you around. Okay. I tucked in my tail too. Okay. So anyway. So now we slip stitch to the first stitch. Chain 1 and that first stitch, put in 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, then 1 single crochet in the next 2. So we're increasing like we did on the snowman until you get the width that you want to fit your snowman. Okay, so you're going to just keep increasing until you get your width to go around him, and then we're going to just do some regular rounds. So what I want you to do is, you know how like we did an increase in 2 that round, next round would be an increase in 3, then an increase in 4. Everybody crochets a different tightness, so I can't say what round will fit your snowman's head, but I'm gonna do it, keep doing the normal increases like we did on the puddle part of the snowman. All right, and then I'm gonna come back to you when my hat's gonna fit the snowman, and then we'll just do some rounds. Okay, I'll be back. Okay. I did my increases up to 5, so I did an increase in 5 single crochets, increase in 5 single crochets. That's how big I went. Now this should be plenty big enough to come down and make his beanie. So I am not going to go any wider, but that's the increase that I used for this. Okay, so now slip stitch to your first stitch, and we're going to do 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds of matching stitch for stitch. 7. Okay, and I'll meet you back here after you do your 7. Okay, I did actually 1 extra round of stitch for stitch on it because I just didn't think I went down over his head far enough. So let's see what it looks like. Here's Mr. Snowman, and I did not cut my yarn yet because we're not done. So get some light on there here, guys. There you go. All right, so here's my hat. Look at that. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the crab stitch around the border. Now I showed you how to do the crab stitch when we did the melted snow part. Okay, so chain 1, you go into that same stitch that you just did, grab yarn, bring it up, wrap, and go through. You go in your next stitch, grab your yarn, bring it through, wrap up, and go through. And you're just going in reverse. That's why it's called the crab stitch. Pretty cool stitch. And it gives it such a beautiful edging. Just like that. So I'm going to continue this, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, here is my hat with that beautiful crab stitch rim. Look at that. I think that's gorgeous. And now I need a smaller needle. That should go through this button, and that one will not. Let's see. Well, I'm making a little bit of a mess here. Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna put you on pause, and I gotta find a needle. All right, I found a needle that'll go through. So I want to put on this oversized palm on the top of a sail. You guys do not have to do a palm. It's up to you. But how I do it is I sew a button on right at the center, right here, so I can hook on I'll show you, there's a plastic elastic thing to hold on the palm, and that way if you need to wash things, you can take it off. I do have a video that I think I did last year, it could be the other year, on how to do this, but it's just sewing a button as close to the side of the center as possible. Something for it to go through. So there's my center, and just want it right off to the side. And I chose the same color yarn to make it that you really can't see. But the palm is going to cover most of it anyway, so it's not a big deal. But this is how I do the palms, because the nice thing about doing this is you can take them off. Okay, so and then I'm just gonna hide this in the center. Boy, I'm struggling with this today. Okay. Now I take my hook and I go through the center, and I find, see my little elastic? Grab onto it. Pull it through, and then wrap it around the button. And that is how the palms stay on. So let's take our snowman gentleman. There he is. And the seam of the hat I always put in the back. And I put it on my snowman. Look how cute, guys. Adorable. All right, so now I want to sew some buttons on. I bought these at a craft store. Nothing special. But I bought 2 packs because I wanted to use the pine cones, and I wanted 3 of them. And actually I want the snowflakes too, but not for now. Okay, and then one more pine cone. So you know how when you do, when you do a snowman, you put buttons on them? Now remember, this snowman is melting. Melting. So you can put these straight down, or you can put them where they're bending a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see. I'm gonna put them where they're moving like he's melting. So I'm gonna attach these on, and I'll be right back. Okay, there's the pine cones on, and as you can see, it's crooked to him. That's what it's supposed to be. All right, so what we have left is his scarf and his mittens. I'll be back. Okay, so now your snowman is made. Now we have to make the scarf, which I did. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's just I decided on the moss stitch. With the scarf, you can do anything. If you want to do something totally different, you don't have to do what I did. You can make any scarf that you want, but I'm going to show you how I did this. Very easy, and this actually works up really fast. And you can also make it any length that you want. I wanted a longer one that came to the edge, like you know how they're melting down, it's coming to the edge of where they're melting. But you can make a shorter one. And then the other thing I'm going to show you how to do is make these adorable little mittens. I made one so I knew the pattern, and I'm going to do the second one with you together. So let's get started. I'm going to show you how to do this, and I didn't do fringe on the other end because I want to show you how I did the fringe too, which is easy, but I want to make sure you guys are set up for success. And all right, here is how I did the scarf. I did a chain of 10, and I'm using my 5mm hook. So I did a chain of 10. Make sure I'm not going off camera for you guys. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. So 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. I turn it over, and I'm using the back horizontal loops. You don't have to, but I did. And I'm gonna just slam in a single crochet right there. Then I chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, and chain 1, skip 1, and you're at the end. Single crochet. All right. Now chain 2, 1 and 2, and then you turn. And now we're just going to work single crochets in those chain 1 areas. So you chain 2, and in that chain 1 area put a single crochet, chain 1, then you go into your next gap, which is skipping 1. That's all it is. Chain 1 and go in your gap, chain 1, and then at the end where that, you know how you went into the 4th chain, this big gap right here, just go right in there and do your last single crochet. All right, chain 2 again. Now this is the repeat. Turn, go into your gap, the chain 1 area, chain 1, go right into that gap, chain 1, go into that gap, and chain 1, and then you go into the chain 2 area. Okay, just take your time to find it. There it is. Okay, let's repeat that one more time just so you guys are on a good page. Chain 2 and turn, then you single crochet into that gap, chain 1, single crochet in the gap, chain 1, single crochet in the gap, chain 1, and single crochet into that chain 2 area. Okay, I'm going to do one more just to make sure everybody's good. Again, chain 2, 1 and 2, and turn. Then you put a single crochet in that chain 1 area, that gap, chain 1, then you go into the gap, chain 1, you go into the gap, and chain 1, and you go into that chain 2 area right there. All right, and then you just repeat that and repeat it and repeat it until you get to the end. Now what I do when I get the length that I want, I chain 1 after you have the full length that you want, and I turn, and then what I'm doing is I put 1 single crochet in every single stitch. I put it in the ones that you're supposed to skip, and I put it into the gaps. So I just put in 1 single crochet in every single stitch all the way across. Okay, and even in that chain 2 area, remember every single space. All right, and that gives you a finished edge. All right, now you guys know I showed you that I did my scarf already. That being said, I want to make some fringes. You can make the fringes as long as you want or as short as you want, but remember they will be folded in half. So I cut, let's say 1, 2, 3. It's probably approximately, not exact, probably about 5 inches. All right, so what I did is I just take this and then I just keep cutting until I have enough fringes. My noisy scissors. So you keep just cutting your pieces until you have the length, until as many as you need. Now, everybody's different for what they're doing. Now, it's really important that you hold both the fronts to the front, okay? Because when you put on the fringes, there's a front to the fringe, and there's a back look to the fringe. Be very careful. This was my starting yarn, okay? So what I do is I take 2 of my fringes evenly, and I go through my stitch, grab my yarn, bring it through, pull enough of a gap, and I just push it through. Oh, I messed that up. Try it again. Maybe I can weave it through with my yarn. There we go. But I didn't get it all. Missed one. Alright. So just like that. Do it again in the next stitch. And you just do that all the way across. And I'll meet you back because I gotta cut a couple fringes. I'll be right back. Okay, cut a few more fringes, so let's just keep doing this together. And make sure you're going into every single stitch. And remember, I'm using 2 for each one. Oh, was I off the camera? I don't know why that's been my go-to lately. And then last 2. Okay. And after you got, instead of weaving that tail in, you don't know what to do. Just gonna cut it and let that be part. So all the fringes are on, and all you have to do is wrap this around your snowman. Okay. Now we're going to do the glove. Again, I'm using my 5mm hook. Do a magic ring. If you don't want to do a magic ring, I would crochet a chain of 4, slip stitch to the first stitch, and then chain 1. Okay, and in your circle, I want you to put in 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, after you have your 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, then in each stitch, I want you to put in 2 single crochets in every stitch, and then that'll give you a total of 12 single crochets. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And pull it closed. All right. So I want you to put in 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the second stitch. And I do recommend, at least for this round, mark your first stitch. And in the third stitch, put in 2 single crochets. And then again, 1 single crochet in the next, 1 single crochet in the next, and then 2 single crochets. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And then one more time, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochets in the last stitch. This will land you at 16 single crochets. All right. Now we're going to match stitch for stitch, 16 single crochets going all the way around. So do 8 rounds, 16, 16, 16, 16, until you got 8 rounds done. After you got 8 rounds done, I'll meet you back. Okay, I did my 16 rows. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to do the crab stitch. I've showed you how to do this before. I'm just going to do the crab stitch all the way around the edge. I think the crab stitch works so pretty for this. So, all the way around the edge. If you don't want to do the crab stitch, you can do a slip stitch all the way around, or pick any edging that you want. You want something a little frilly, do what you want. I'm happy with the crab stitch since what I've been using on this pattern. I'm just going to keep it rolling while I'm doing it. What's neat about the crab stitch is once you understand it, once you got it, it just goes beautiful. The mitten is not done. We have to do the thumb yet, so you guys didn't think I forgot. cut my center string. Okay. Okay. Now, let's make the thumb, guys. So again, a magic ring. If you don't want the magic ring, do the chain 4 like I've explained before. In this circle, let's do 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right. Now we're gonna just match 6 single crochets going around, and I need you to do 3 rounds of 6 single crochets, just 3 rounds of 6 single crochets, and I'll meet you back. Okay, after you do your 3 rounds, let me get rid of this tail. Just tuck. Don't have to be perfect, you can just tuck it in. Okay, after you did your 3 rounds, I know this isn't going to make sense to you, but you'll understand in a minute. So, in the next stitch, I want you to do a slip stitch. And then in the next 3 stitches, I want you to do a regular single crochet. So, 1, 2, and then 3. And then cut a tail. Now, see how the thumb's at an angle? You need that at an angle. Okay, so the thumb isn't like going straight out. All right. And then pick the side of the glove that you want. I think that's where I did my join, so I'm going to use that side. And then I'm going to go down 1 row. See, there's the row of the crab stitch going right underneath that. Pick where you want to put your thumb on. And this is the angle that we did the 3 single crochets on, so it gave it that angle. And then sew it on, just go around. And then you just go through the stitch. Then you go in the next stitch. Just make sure you're not going in the same stitch that you came out of in the glove. Okay. Okay, and then weave in your end to lock it in there, okay? And make sure your gloves are have your thumbs. We'll do different sides. You need a right and a left. Actually, there we go, left and right. Okay. So when I went out, I stopped at Joann's and bought, the pine cones we use for the buttons. I just went to Joann's and bought some snowflakes too. And then I'm using natural pH adhesive. This is for these kind of projects. And what I do is I take off the top. And I use a Q-tip. I have more control. Now you don't have to put on a decoration. Totally your choice. Okay. And then I'm going to plop it on there. Okay. All right. Now, let's see. Bring it up here. Back it up a little bit. Bring over the snowman. Scarf. Making sure I have the fringes on the right side. Ring around. And then I'm going to wrap it just softly up and around. Now, straighten out and decide how you want your mittens on him. He's melting, so you can do it crooked. You can do it any way you want. I think I like it just like that. 1, 2, 1, 2 rows in, or actually 1 row in. There we go. Once you know where you want it, take in my glue, and I'm putting it on the back of make sure you know exactly how you want to put it down. So once you put it down once, you don't leave traces of this glue. It's going to be hard spots, so you don't want to play once you decide where you're putting it. And you know what? If they're not perfect, it's really okay because it is a melting snowman. And there she is, guys. You did a beautiful melting snowman. Pom pom and all. I thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Ronnie. I work with Maggie and Lauren to bring you beautiful crochet tutorials. And here at Whip and Chain, it's always a work in progress. Till next time, bye-bye.